Welcome to Umi and a Cup of Tea, the podcast from Umi where we discuss all things technology, marketing, hotels and travel. So grab yourself a tea, coffee or something stronger and we'll jump right in. Hello and welcome back to our conversion rate optimization series of our podcast. It's a continuation of a recording we made a while ago where we're going to go through our conversion rate optimization checklist and just talk a little bit about a few points. I'm joined by Laurence Pratt, who's our head of UX and UI, and we're just going to be discussing a number of elements that are ultimately going to increase both the value of your website and hopefully drive additional revenue for your hotel or hospitality business. So in the nature of continuation, I'm not going to do too much introduction to this, but we're going to start off with talking about a point which is the hero image optimization. So, Laurence, what is a hero?
So, yeah, your hero
apart from
section,
a famous character in a quest.
I'm just trying to think of any heroes that we could talk about that could help you get more direct bookings. But in the case of your website, it is that section that you first see when you load up your website on your browser. Whatever you see in the viewport, it is generally called the hero section, and that's traditionally been a really large image. This usually is like the best image of your hotel, as well as a call to action, which is inviting the visitor to take the next step, which is usually to book now or view rooms or something like that. In our last podcast about the conversion checklist, we mentioned that call to action should include a positioning statement and the location where you are. So that positioning statement is the value that you can add to your ideal customer. So if it's a luxury spa and your ideal customer is a weekend luxury traveler, then it should say a tremendously luxurious break in the Cotswolds, for example, and that call to action goes over your hero image. And what we want to talk about in this point is how can we optimize that image to make sure that it converts the best for your hotel. And there's a number of ways in which we can do that. We can use A/B testing. And A/B testing, for those that are unsure, is where you can actually serve up two different versions of your web page and send two 50-50 amounts of traffic to it and see which one converts the best. And this usually is a way in which we can see which version performs the best. And I think with hero optimization, there's a few options that you can choose. You could choose a static image and therefore choose some images that you think work really well, but by putting them into an A/B test, you can actually see which performs best for your actual traffic going to the website. And I suppose some other examples that you could use rather than a static image might be a carousel. So that's a number of images showing one after the other. Or even now, a very popular option is to have like a background video playing in the background. Also seems to be very popular because you can tell more of a story in a video, and you can get it's a bit more realistic, and it looks very, very classy when you have a video background. So the suggestion is with A/B testing and optimizing that hero section is to try a number of those things that you have available to you if you've got those nice images, or if you have had a video taken, serve those up to an A/B test and see which one performs best, see if it increases any conversions.
Absolutely. So, and the reason for varying content performing differently is that when you look at hotel photography, some of it can be around comfort, some of it can be around people. whether it's a sort of a busy, exciting lobby, whether it's the beautiful gardens, or a sort of really comfy looking bed. Now, different things are going to hold different levels of value to different people. So it's never a perfect one size fits all. And because you as the content decision maker is going to hold a certain weight towards various qualities of your property, you need to make sure that you're not leading, you're not putting your own biases on what is a kind of a fairly objective large data set. Numbers will win after the subjectivity is kind of ruled out. So the other interesting thing, which we'll just close on this point with, is that you can, particularly through things like Google Ads, you can automatically change the content and the image of a hero based on the campaign source. So quite often we might direct some advertising campaigns, whether it's to the homepage or an individual offer page, but based on the nature of the campaign, perhaps it's targeting a certain, wedding visitors in a particular area. We could have a different, maybe weddings in Surrey. We could have the hero text to be, people choose us as a wedding venue in Surrey because, right? And similarly, if you're going after a different audience for your hotel, the landing page might be the same, but you can actually tailor the hero image or the hero content or assets based on the traffic source. Now that requires a developer to do, but again, it makes the content of the page relevant to the person that's viewing it in that time and in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Precisely. And I think a lot of the points that we have got in the conversion checklist really it emphasizes how important your user research is and understanding your ideal guest persona, because as you say, you might be sitting there as the hotel marketer thinking, oh, we really love this aspect about the hotel, let's put that in our hero image, but that really doesn't resonate with the people that actually get the most value out of your hotel. And understanding that and being able to place an A/B test to figure that out is going to really help boost your conversions and help you understand the people that are actually visiting your website more. So for example, in the next point on the checklist, it's effective website copy. Now, what does effective mean? It means effective for your ideal guest. So if you haven't done your user research or you haven't created your ideal guest persona, you don't really know what effective means in attracting that particular guest. And that's really going back to that point of, you can't try and appeal to everybody. You want to appeal to the guests that you want to see more of coming through the door, and those guests that actually get the best value from what you have to offer. So the next point is making sure on that homepage as you go through it and throughout the website, but remembering that homepage is really that initial opportunity when the guest is visiting from an OTA and is probably going to go back to the OTA to book. You really want to capture their imagination there and really stand out to them. So making sure as you go through your homepage and ask yourself, does this really speak to my ideal guest? Is everything that we're talking about mentioning all the things that are important to that ideal guest? Rather than trying to make it sound as if it's a hotel for everybody. And a point we sort of repeat a number of times is you can appeal to those other guests as well. You can create a separate landing page that talks about business guests or group guests. We can cater for those, and we can really target the messaging for those groups on a separate landing page. But for that main ideal customer that brings us sort of 80% of our business, we want to make sure that homepage is really speaking to them.
Absolutely. Right, the next point we want to discuss is the use of icons and lists in a website. Now, sometimes listing things doesn't look particularly prosaic, but it is an incredibly effective way of communicating value and features and various things very, very concisely. Laurence, tell us a little bit about your thoughts on why lists and icons are such a powerful tool.
Yeah, because the simple fact is the way people read websites, well, that's to say people read websites. People don't read websites. That's might come as a shock to people that create website copy and all that heartache that they go through to create nice descriptions of everything. People scan read as they go through a web page and they scroll down. Their eyes are going across and they're picking out images and they're picking out big headlines, and they're essentially looking for bits of information that are relevant to them. As soon as they see a big paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, we've seen it all. People, that's hard work. Your visitor doesn't want to read large chunks of text when they are making a quick assessment as to whether this hotel is ideal for their stay. So it's really essential that the way that we display the information on that page is in bite-sized chunks. Like I say, headlines are a good way of conveying important information, and when you have a lot of features to discuss, putting those in a bullet list is really key as well. And what we found from our user research is that if that bullet list is accompanied by relevant icons as well, we've all heard the expression, a picture tells 1,000 words. That's really what's going on. People can very quickly understand a Wi-Fi icon, or a shower icon, or a bath icon. It makes it even easier for them to understand what's available in a hotel if they can see a bullet list with icons. So that's a great way of helping the natural scanning of a website to convey information.
Absolutely. I think it represents also a really good opportunity to show some individuality and some personality. A lot of icon sets are often created at the point that the brands created as well. Whether that's unique signage that can ultimately be then turned into sort of vector-based icons for the site, or just finding creative icon sets online. The idea is to show some personality, but also break long passages of text into very clear, concise points. Furthermore, there is a number of technical things you can do behind the scenes with the lists. Schema markup, for example, allows you to wrap lists and bullet points in special pieces of code that ultimately allow you to kind of contribute to it creates what's called a rich snippet, so that Google can actually answer questions from browsers, from searchers, using the content of your site without even without even sort of having to redirect them to your site. Now, you might ask, what's the point of this? But actually, rich snippets are a great way of conveying your value before someone even needs to click through to the site. So it actually increases visibility rather than decreases click-throughs, I would say.
Yes.
Because quite often the icon list someone will read that, but then want to know a bit more information. So it's just more of it actually helps click-through rate. Yeah.
So that just for that added bit of information, those rich snippets, they're appearing. They can appear in your Google My Business window, can't they?
Exactly. It's all of the information that a Google search results page will convey that isn't the actual website itself. So things like if you were to type in how to boil an egg, it would tell you 5 minutes, and it would give you, the steps required, and it would give you, a 5-star review on eggs as a food or something. But, that's what a rich snippet is.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, should we move on to the next point then?
Yeah. So the next point we're going to be talking about now is professional room photography. We cannot state this importantly enough, because quite often the website itself is a canvas on which you hang the content. The content will make or break the website. The website doesn't make or break the content, in my opinion. And so sometimes the room photography is, so if that's sort of if that's half baked, or only showing perhaps limited angles or not quite enough information, people will be switched off to it. They would prefer to book with a channel where they actually can see more detail and more information than less. An example being, quite a lot of people will not actually put bathroom photography on their hotel website, but actually the state of the bathroom and what the bathrooms are like are a massively important part of someone's decision. So they're much more likely to go through an OTA where they can confirm exactly all the different angles that the room might have, the different aspects, etc. So not just the quality of the photography, but also the image selection itself is immensely important. Laurence, I remember you doing a bit of research around restaurants and photography choice in restaurants, doing some user interviews, and you were really, it was quite interesting, the answers that you received, wasn't it?
Yeah, we heard from some people that had, some hearing difficulties, and so whenever they looked through a website of a restaurant, they wanted to, or a bar or a pub, they wanted to know if there were any sort of alcoves or those booths where they would be able to sit down and feel sort of enclosed a little bit so that they could hear each other. And it was a really important part of their booking journey was checking the photos on the website to see if there was any suitable tables for them, or if there are any round tables as opposed to long thin tables, so that they can lip read if they needed to. So I think one of the things that it's tempting to do, especially in hotels as well, is to have a lot of photography which is very artistic, like a close-up of a bunch of flowers or a snazzy bit of ornament. Now, these are fantastic shots, and everybody thinks that they look great, but you've got to remember that you need to tick those boxes that the customer is looking at or looking for when they check things out. And these can be very functional, like I say, looking to see if there's soundproof areas, or in the case of what you were saying, looking at the bathroom photos. We've been quite shocked at how many times people who have looked at reputable hotel websites, not seen a bathroom image, or not seen whether there's a shower in the bathroom. That's an important thing. People want to see if there's a bath or a shower there. And if you've not got any photos of the bathroom, it's a surprising number of people will say, "Is there a bathroom in the room?" and the more and more we see, serviced apartments, or something equivalent to that, from the visitor's point of view or the guest's point of view, these questions are in the back of their minds. Do I have to share a bathroom with someone else, on that floor? And if you don't show pictures of bathrooms, this will create uncertainty in their minds. But yeah, so incredibly important to get those functional photos in as well as the artistic ones. And I would advise making sure you've shown all your functional photos as a priority above those artistic ones.
I agree. I think, pick that cliche of pictures painting 1,000 words. They're also used as fodder just to fill space, just because the design accommodates, the design might accommodate a picture, but that doesn't mean it's just there to be filled. Try and use that opportunity to communicate value and communicate features and various things, rather than just treating it as an artistic placeholder.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I mean, particularly if you put a gallery somewhere, if it's a carousel of images for a room, make sure that you prioritize those functional images in those, because that's where people will go to see them. I can see an argument for, if you've got some text that you want to display over a background and you want to put a bit of effect on it, then maybe that's where those artistic pictures can have a place, because you can sort of treat them a little bit, maybe put an overlay over them so that they're not the main focus, but they do add a bit of artistic value.
Yeah. Everything needs to be in balance.
And just one final thing on professional room photography. The reason why we've put professional room photography is because a professional photographer who knows how to take pictures of rooms will know how to light it properly, what angles to take the pictures from. We're not simply suggesting get yourself a fantastic camera and get in there and take some new photos. We're really saying invest the money in having a professional take these photos. I can't overstate that enough.
Yep, agreed. The number of times we've also, people have spent, a proper investment in a website, and then we've received iPhone pictures is frightening. So yeah. I fully agree with you. Amazing. Right. Well, thank you, Laurence. Let's leave that there. We've covered some really interesting points there. Just to summarize, we discussed a bit about hero optimization and how we can sort of A/B test those and why we might want to do that. We've discussed what makes effective website copy. We've discussed the importance of using icons and bullet lists to convey value concisely. And then finally, we've closed things off with really just stressing the importance of a professional room photography, and also why the image selection goes beyond just what the image looks like. It really is an opportunity to communicate value, features, angles and sizes of rooms and things like that. And people do look at that. It is a very I think we underestimate how much people will look into the details of photography. Mm-hmm. But thank you very much for your time, Laurence. That was really, really interesting to go through. Looking forward to the next session where we're going to go through a few more points to hopefully help out people's websites.
Just to say that we'll make this checklist available in a link in the show notes, and you can go and download that from our website. So you can go through, for the next episode, you can go through the checklist with us.
There we are. Follow along.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you, Laurence.
All right, great.
Well, now we'll catch you all on the next one.
All right, see ya.